Hi everybody, sorry I'm a little late. Okay, so why I started late? Because we had breaking news in my area, but we didn't miss much because today was capture day. Um, the reason I put it in quotes is because every time somebody gets kidnapped, taken, whatever word you want to use, there always has to be a capture day. So today was it. And it was kind of stupid actually. Because okay, I gotta say this from the outset. Um, Tamara Braun is an amazing actress. However, the words they made her sound stupid because she's still playing into the Mitch, and it's like, no, it's Matt Clark. So finally, like halfway through the episode, he says, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Matt Clark." I'm like, uh-huh. So at first, okay, so she's being held in the hotel room. And it's like, you can kind of guess it's like a seedy motel because there's only room for a bed and that's it. There's no TV, no nothing, right? Okay. So, and she's still kind of handcuffed to the bed. And apparently they drugged her the other day. And then today she woke up and then she's trying to get out, right? So she's using her feminine charm to try to weasel her way out of like getting being trapped. But Roger Howard was great because which we knew he was going to be captured because he's a thing and he's playing Matt Clark, so the Newmans have something against him, a vendetta, if you will, because he hurt their family before, and also if you follow the story, although it wasn't played by Roger Howard back then, I don't believe, but he played like he was unalive and made Nick take the fall for it like Nick did it. But then he was never unalive. He was always alive. So there's that piece of it. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So I was wrong slightly because they did capture them and whatever. Because now you're supposed to believe they use drone technology to follow them. Okay. Um, the thing I was wrong about is I thought they were gonna unalive Matt and then save Sienna. Because if Noah is gonna have a partner, then Sienna has to be alive, right? Okay. But they haven't unalived Matt yet. The reason I say yet is because the Newmans have been known to exercise vigilante justice, whereas they do whatever they want and then they cover it up. And somehow it's never discovered. The cops never find the weapon or whatever they use. It never happens like that. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So then we get to see the inside of a marriage gone bad, kind of. Although Sienna apparently never, you're supposed to believe that Sienna never knew she was married to a bad guy because you're supposed to believe that she came in contact with this guy named Mitch. And apparently she didn't ask him too many questions and she just fell for whatever he told her, which is so stupid. I hope that women aren't that stupid. Um, yeah. So, and then they go into like, well, we were happy and I wanted to go with you, but you're the one who left me alone and went on business trips alone and left me. And I know that you flirted with people in the club right in front of me. So then why did you marry me in the first place? Did you ever love me and all this stuff? And I'm like, okay, okay. And he's like, yeah, I did. But you're the one who stepped out on the marriage. So I don't know. Okay. So then moving on from that, because literally this was the only story today. And I could have clocked it because somehow uh, Adam gets involved with this too and wants to help everybody. Okay, that's part one. Part two is, of course, they're going to have the person who is trapped be in there for a while because they can't really just go in there and bust in and, get her out of there. Of course not. So you have to spend like half the episode with a bunch of like either background information or just yada yada. And then about over halfway through, then they formulate a plan and then they catch them and then they involve the police. So then they're surrounded by the police and then Sienna drops the gun because she's trying to protect herself from her own husband. And then she runs to Noah and then whatever. And then she's safe and he's put in handcuffs, yada yada. Okay. Now the other side. Um so Sienna has to go somewhere, right? Okay. So somehow they apparently take her home and she's there with Noah and Sharon and yada yada. Just a bunch of stuff today. It's like a bunch of stuff, but like a bunch of nothing. Because I could call it. Like I knew what was gonna happen before it happened. Way before it happened. Because I also said, and I said this too, I think last week, or maybe the week before. I don't know. I said the storyline has gone on too long. They gotta close it up. Because people like me are gonna say, I'm bored. Can we move on? Because you've been on the story for like a month at least. And it's like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know how it's going to happen pretty much. And it's like, okay, can we move on to something else, please? So, yeah, I was at that point already. So now that the big storyline is done, I don't know what else they're going to do. Maybe they're going to move on to Kane and Lily. Also, I always see patterns, okay? And okay, so last time, so this is how I'm going to talk about this. Last time we talked about Kane and Lily was on New Year's Eve. Remember that? Okay, so that was last week. Apparently, they gotta let it breathe for a week before we know anything. So maybe within this week into next week, we'll find out what happened with Lily and Kane, and then also Tessa and Daniel and the whole thing. Only thing is, I gotta add one little note to that. Okay, the part I kind of forgot, although it was like a little snippet of something, like literally they didn't really talk about it that much. The majority of the episode was spent with Mariah Cameron Grimes in a room with Tristan Rogers before he passed away. So yeah. So okay, the piece I didn't talk about was that Tessa already filed for divorce for Mariah as of whenever New Year's Eve. Yeah. So yeah, that was the last piece of that thing. Although I don't know what's gonna happen after that. I mean, you would think it's gonna be like cut and dry. She's just gonna sign the papers, but it depends on if they want to release Mariah from whatever or keep it going so that people can have hope. I don't know. I think that ship has already sailed, in my opinion. But I have been wrong. So keep your mind open. Okay, that's it. All right. Bye, everybody.